One of the more confusing and asked about topics covered in the Bargaining Unit 7 Memorandum of Understanding concerns holiday pay. In other words, what compensation am I entitled to if I do or do not work a holiday? I'm David De La Riva, legal counsel for CSLEA, and I hope to educate you on some of the finer points made in Article 8.1 of the Bargaining Unit 7 MOU concerning payment for holidays. Now keep in mind that for clarity purposes, we're going to use a Monday through Friday, 5-day-a-week, 8-hour-a-day work schedule to examine holiday pay. First, it must be made clear that each Bargaining Unit 7 employee is entitled to a total of 11 paid holidays per calendar year. So whether you work or not, you're entitled to receive a total of 8 hours of compensation for each of the 11 holidays. Let's now look at a number of different scenarios and apply the language of the MOU, which again appears in Article 8.1. First, what happens if you observe the holiday? Now this is simple. If a holiday falls on your regular date of work and your office is closed for the day, at the end of the month, you're entitled to receive 8 hours of pay for that day. In other words, if you were looking at your timesheet, you will be credited 8 hours to be plugged into the day in which the holiday falls. So, at the end of the month, you will receive your full compensation for the month, which is reflected on your pay warrant. Now, what happens if the holiday falls on your regular day off? If you work Monday through Friday and the holiday falls on a Saturday, you're still going to be credited 8 hours, but under this scenario, there's no need to plug in the 8 hours of compensation you're entitled to into the day in which the holiday falls because the holiday is actually falling on your day off. So where do the 8 hours go? Where they go is into a holiday credit bank. Now these hours in the bank are to be used in the future at your request. How will you know that you were actually credited these hours? Each employee is encouraged at the end of the month in which the holiday falls to always look at the bottom of your pay warrant. There should be a line which says holiday credit, showing the number of hours earned during the month as well as your total hours accrued. Again, now these are hours which may be used at your request in the future. Now the big question is, what happens if I actually work a holiday? The answer is different depending on whether the holiday is a premium holiday. Under the Bargaining Unit 7 MOU, premium holidays include January 1st, Memorial Day, the 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. For example, let's look at Christmas Day. First, because Christmas Day is one of the 11 paid holidays that you're entitled to under the MOU, you shall receive 8 hours of compensation. Now generally, those hours should be plugged into a holiday credit bank to be used in the future at your request. On top of that, the moment you begin your shift, you're earning your regular wage plus halftime. So if you work an 8-hour shift, this equates to 12 hours of compensation, or 8 hours at time and a half, which equals 12. At the end of the day, you will have been credited 8 hours plugged into a holiday credit bank, as well as 8 hours at time and a half, or 12 hours of straight time, for a grand total of 20 hours of compensation for that day. If you work a non-premium holiday, which again are holidays other than January 1st, Memorial Day, the 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day, you shall receive 8 hours of compensation plugged into a holiday credit bank to be used in the future at your request, and your regular wage at straight time for a grand total of 16 hours of compensation for the day. Keep in mind that employers retain the option of how the holiday credit will be compensated. In other words, while the placing of 8 hours of compensation into a holiday credit bank is the most common method of compensation, employers may also choose to place those hours into a compensatory time off or CTO bank, or simply pay you cash. Now, as a reminder, there are slightly different rules for the firefighter classification, mainly having to do with the receipt of additional holiday credit hours. So firefighters, please refer to Articles 7.8 and 7.9 of the MOU. As always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact your CSLEA representative for further clarification.